Welcome to another broadcast of Do You Believe? Today's going to be totally different than anything I've ever done before because I feel the need to do it. I feel led to do this. So I hope you enjoy what I'm about to bring you here. So our third president of the United States, Thomas Jefferson, made the following statement. He said, "When people fear the government, there is tyranny. When the government fears the people, there's liberty." Unfortunately, I don't think we the people have got to the point where you're actually fearing your government. But if you look back just 10 years ago, things weren't like they are now. People have gone crazy. So as we continue to go on through this, pay it close attention, and then you make your own judgment, come to your own conclusions. So what we need to know. We need to know that the left in this country will never tell the truth. You see it on the news all the time. You're being lied to constantly, unless it benefits them to do so. And believe me, only when it benefits them to do so. That they are globalist and they want a one world government. Now the problem with they're having here is that the governments like China want to be that controlling force. And wait, as we go through this, you'll see. And our own government has plans to allow this takeover to happen. They are even using our own money to do it. Of course, it's the only money there is. The only money they have that they haven't borrowed is our money. They use our money and then they borrow more money to do it. Now, America, not that we weren't warned about this, but America was founded on a single principle, and that's freedom. We are ultimately a nation of adults, built for people willing to accept responsibility for their lives, for good and for all. Indeed, the founders were well aware of the allure of despotism. It is safe to be protected by someone else and to not have to make decisions about one's life. What's more, the founders knew that true liberty requires eternal vigilance. They understood that even a limited government would constantly be looking for ways to acquire more and greater power over the lives of its citizens. Boy, has that happened. We need no further evidence of this than the United States government of today, with a far greater scope than what the founders, who rebelled over a small T tax, would have been willing to tolerate. Liberty is difficult to obtain, even more difficult to maintain, and very easy to lose. This is what the founders believe, and once it's lost, there's no getting it back. You need to remember that. John Adams. Liberty must at all hazards be supported. We have a right to it, derived from our Maker, God Almighty. But if we had not, our fathers have earned and bought it for us, at the expense of their ease, their estates, their wealth, their pleasure, and their blood. But a constitution of government once changed from freedom can never be restored. Liberty once lost is lost forever. Now John Adams sent that to his wife in 1775. The problem The problem we have is people just sit back on their blessed assurance, rest their laurels, and they say, well, I go to work every day, I earn my money, I come home, we go on vacations, we go out to eat, we go to the movies, we have our kids, we take them to an amusement park, we take a vacation to Disneyland, we travel all over the place. It doesn't affect me what they do. Well, maybe not directly yet, but indirectly, a lot has changed that you, as the people of this country, have no knowledge of, because you got your head stuck in the sand. And I'm being nice when I say the sand. You don't get it. You don't care to get it, because you feel if you ignore it, it'll just go away. Well, it's not going away. And it's about time everyone realize that whatever you think's going away is not. In fact, is growing like a cancer every single day. That these people who claim to be Americans and doing things in their best interest are stabbing you in the back as they go along. We were warned. Boy, were we warned. George Washington said the establishment of civil and religious liberty was the motive which induced him to the field. The object is attained, and it now remains to be my earnest wish and prayer that the citizens of the United States could make a wise and virtuous use of the blessings placed before them. And those blessings come from God. It's not man-made. It's not something we acquired, something that we can obtain. Okay? They're given to you by your Maker, by your Creator. Evan Burke said that people never give up their liberties but under some delusion. And boy, are people out there delusional. I mean, there's some of the things that you see and that you hear and you're saying, this couldn't possibly be right. People don't really believe that, do they? But they do. And that's the frightening part. Why do they believe it? Because they've been lied to, they've been manipulated, which is a form of witchcraft, by the way. They have been provoked. They've been kept in this victim mentality. They believe that the world owes them everything and they owe the world nothing. Why should I work when the government will give me everything that I need? That's what they want to do. They want to keep you so committed and so despondent. They want you to believe that if you don't rely on the government for everything you need, then you'll have nothing. They want you to rely on them for everything, because then when they rely on the government for everything, then they own you. That's the deal. That is the deal. Don't let that happen. Benjamin Franklin said, those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserves neither liberty nor safety. I agree with that. If you're such a wuss that you think you just can sit back and let everybody give you everything, and I'm just going to sit here and just be so safe, okay, even though you know it's only a temporary thing because right around the corner something else is coming, then you don't deserve liberty, you don't deserve safety. Not at all. He also says, 'tis a common man's observation here that our cause is the cause of all mankind, and that we are fighting for the liberty and defending our own, of their liberty and defending our own. What we're saying is, once America falls, if America falls, so goes the world. We are the defining force in this world to keep tyranny from totally taking control. And if America falls, the world falls. If you don't think that's true, take take a look at all the other countries. Look at Europe right now. Europe has turned totally socialist. Even England, who pulled out of the European Union, is a socialist country now. Canada is worse. I mean, and Australia is really bad. Just check out the rest of the countries around and see what's going on. And you'll see exactly what we were warned about is happening. And no one is doing anything about it. When will we realize that our voice is louder than the government? There's a lot more of we the people than there are government people. Do you know France just passed a law that says it is you get a 4-year jail sentence and $48,000 fine if you speak against the mRNA vaccine? That's right. This is the people who gave us the Statue of Liberty, who defeated Napoleon and wanted freedom, who we bailed out twice, okay, during World War I and World War II so they could have their liberty back, okay, are now a fascist government in France who's dictating to people, telling them that you cannot speak against a vaccine or you'll go to prison for 4 years and pay a $48,000 fine. And if you don't believe I'm telling you the truth, Google it. Even Google's got it there. And if they take it down, go to DuckDuckGo and do it that way, and they'll find it. It's still out there on the internet. It did happen. And we're probably just not far away from them wanting to take that liberty away from us too. I might not be able to do podcasts much longer because speaking out against things that are wrong. I mean, I don't own YouTube. I don't own Facebook. I don't own Instagram. The only place you probably get away with it is on X, which used to be Twitter. I don't know. I'm just saying we've got to do something. We can't let this go on. So I'm going to show you something. If you don't believe what's going on, let me show you a little map that the CCP's put out to show their people how to infiltrate the United States. Here we go. Okay, it's a short little video, and here's what it does. So if you noticed on there, all the writing on that map was in Chinese. I mean, they've gone to great lengths, right? We're going to show you how to come in from Panama, from the Darien province, or they now call it Darien Gap because there's 60 miles worth of jungle from the end of the Darien province, which they call the Darien Gap, that goes into Colombia. Now, they have interviewed people coming through there, and they have shown that the people tell them that they're stepping over dead bodies all the way through there. In the last year, 580,000 people have tried to go through that gap. 60 miles of rough, dangerous jungle. When I was stationed in Panama, during my military career, I lived there for 3 years. The Darien province was off limits. They still had headhunters in the Darien province. People with shrunken heads. Yeah, it was dangerous to go in there. Now, it's dangerous because of bandits, because of the critters in the jungle, and there are some, quite a few, matter of fact. And That's why they're stepping over dead bodies. They lose everything. Bandits take everything from them. Women are being raped. People are being murdered. But yet they still come through there. But down there is a camp where Chinese come, and they don't go through the Darien Gap, through the jungle. They come in by boats on this side of the Darien Gap, and they have a camp. And we're going to discover this camp. We're going to look at this camp in detail. Well, as much detail as we can, because it's well guarded and you're not allowed to go in the camp. But we do have a photograph. So we will go into that and see where we are. So we are being warned. The general in command of Boyer Richardson and the Southern Commanding General warned of the strategic risk from China's presence in Panama. Now, Jimmy Carter, here we go, another Democrat, Mr. Peanut Man from Georgia, decided he was going to give the Panama Canal back to the Panamanians, who, by the way, always had a dictator. When I was there, it was Omar Torrijos. Noriega, the guy we put in prison for all of his stuff, was Noriega's son-in-law, who ended up killing his father-in-law so he could take over the country. I mean, this is the kind of people you're dealing with. And I'm just letting you know, not all Panamanians are bad. No, they're not. It's the governments we're dealing with. Just like in China, not all the Chinese people are bad. They're not. Just the CCP. So, it's the governments we're dealing with. Not all Americans are bad. But there are some that are. So, why am I going through all this? I don't know if anybody even watched this video. I've been trying to do these podcasts, and hopefully people will share them with other people, so this information can get out in a wider scale. And I'm struggling, but that's okay, because I will continue to do this no matter what. I will do this if I'm only doing it for one person, or if I'm just doing it for me to blow off steam, because if I try to contain it, I'll explode. I had a 23-year military career, and I would have never, in my wildest imagination, imagined that things would come out like they are today. I would have called you a liar straight to your face if you'd have told me how things are right now would be the way that they are. Not going to happen. I would say never happen. But anyway, here's a look at the camp where the Chinese are. Now, this is in the Darien Gap in Panama, down the very southern part of Panama, just before you get to that last 60 miles before you get into Colombia border. That's called the Gap. 60 miles through the jungle. Dangerous jungle. But desperate people do desperate things. And believe me, most of the people interviewed at that border say they're not here because of some political escape, or diplomatic immunity, because they want to get into this country because they're being persecuted. They're coming because they want a different way of life, that they have an opportunity because there's no jobs where they live, so they figure they can come here. It's a land of opportunity, and that's the reason. But our laws do not allow that to happen. So they're looking for asylum instead. Political asylum. Because that's the loophole in our law. And it's got to stop. And it won't as long as we have people like our current administration in power. Okay, so there they are. They're Chinese. And there's no lying about it. I mean, pictures don't lie. There they are. Now, let's bring this to a close. Oh, wait a minute. I think I forgot something here. Let me back up. No, maybe not. Okay. I could go on for hours showing you proof of what is taking place and who's being provided the money in support of it. As a nation, we cannot shrug this off any longer. We must be diligent and prepare for what this evil people have planned for us. I mean, come on. God, too, has warned us of what the enemy has planned, and he is, at this time, winning. The enemy's winning because we're allowing him to win. It's a spiritual and a physical war, believe it or not. And for those of you who don't believe, you're going to find out eventually that how wrong you were. Or are. We need to wake up and realize that what I'm telling you is true. But don't take my word for it. Do your due diligence. Go look for yourself. Go research. Do the things that I do to bring this to you. Anyway, so who's supporting them financially? Oh, you'll be surprised. And maybe not. Most of you probably won't be, but some of you will. Oh, it's being supported by the United States, the UN through UNICEF, the UNSF, and the Global Brigades. Right there on the sign. They're providing the porta potties, water, food, tents, other kinds of lodging, fenced in area, secured and guarded. Wow. And you know what? No wonder China keeps lending us money because we're paying to help them. Imagine that. Huh? I can't even imagine. Okay. I'm going to get off my soapbox. I told you I'm going to keep it long. I don't want to keep it long. But I wanted you to see this. So, I know this isn't my normal type of broadcast. This isn't my normal type of topic that I put on. But I thought this is worthwhile you seeing it. It is horrific. It's disturbing, to say the least. And it's a warning to everyone of what's coming down the pike. So, take it to the bank. But most importantly, do your due diligence, research these things out, stay on top of it, and stay aware of what's going on, and particularly when you're out and about, be aware of your surroundings. So until next time, God bless you all.